In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how our client Bernard from the Netherlands 3x his business and made over $120,000 in one single month in 30 days. Also, this is in the probably worst time of the year for selling fitness programs, which is in August. So if we break things down in terms of what did he focus on first and what problems did we solve when we came to him. So Bernard had a decent business. He was already around like $40,000 a month, hence 3x. What he was struggling with was you don't know what you don't know. And he couldn't kind of see the wood through the trees. So what I focused doing with him when he first came in is giving him a clear game plan for him to go and execute on, and he executed on it phenomenally well. And if you want a game plan like this, there's a link below this video where you can book in and you can get your own game plan. We'll map that out. And if you want help with us actually helping execute, we can talk what that looks like. First of all, what do we start with? So we started with what you need to focus on first, which is the traffic and the lead generation. So we actually looked at what's called his ICA. So his ideal client avatar, and was he actually marketing to that correctly at the beginning? So within that, what we do is we give people a document they need to fill in, which would basically break down the clear values and belief systems of their ideal clients, and also something we call the attractive character framework, which is essentially how you position yourself as an authority so these people want to work with you and you can entice them to come in. Because the reason why most businesses struggle is because they're not actually marketing to the right people they want to work with. There is a discongruence in terms of the brand, in terms of the messaging, and the more you're clear in terms of who the ideal person is, what their problems are, what keeps them up at night, you know how to essentially trigger them for marketing and also be able to how to sell them. So this is the first thing that we focused on, which seems very basic, yet most people won't do that. The second thing we looked at in terms of when we have this, then we have essentially traffic coming through who are now our ICA. He was consistently making content. He was posting on Instagram Reels, and that was good. He's also making YouTube videos and podcasts, I believe, and they're also good quality. So his content's decent. He knows what he's doing from that. We just gave him more clarity in that aspect. Now, where there was a huge monumental opportunity was in DM setting. Now, his setting processes were not dialed in. He was not messaging the right amount of people. He was not targeting them correctly. So we gave him clear KPIs in terms of what this should essentially look like. The second thing we did is helped him in terms of hiring and actually getting a setter to come in to basically build this out. Because yes, he did some of the DM setting himself, but him actually getting someone in here as well to help, getting us the ability to have scale. Because your goal as a business is to help you, the entrepreneur. Your goal is not to build a prison where you have the golden handcuffs where you are stuck doing everything. So every client we work with, we focus on like a needs analysis. Like, what problem do you need to solve? Why is the business not scaling? And this is called like theory of constraints. So, and that's essentially where a business will grow until it hits its natural constraint. If you remove that, the business will then continue to grow again. So we fix those very, very simply, which is why when we work with anyone, we only really work on 1 to 3 max things at a time. So one of the key drivers here was from the setting perspective. Now, what did this allow to happen? His call booking went up dramatically. What happens when you book in more sales calls and you have more buying conversations? You ultimately make more money, which is kind of the game, right? So the third thing we did from there, once we've got the setting in place, we had the KPIs, we had the hiring, we also then looked at the pricing. Now, what most people do is they don't have the right offer, they are not pricing correctly, and also maybe you're not pricing correctly for your ICA. So Bernard is targeting successful men in essence, 25 to 45 years old, maybe slightly older. And the reality is you want to actually price that in, because if your product is more expensive, a lot of them are actually more likely to buy it. So from a pricing aspect, we helped him to increase his price and improve his offer. What did we also do is very important now, is we actually took Bernard as a coaching option off the table unless someone is willing to do a 10K program. So a higher ticket offer to work with him specifically. If not, they work with the coach. Now, this works really well for anchoring the price in terms of program. And if you get someone come through, then great, you've got a big up lump sum, you've got a great client coming through, and probably someone who's paying $10,000 is probably worth someone knowing anyway. So this was the other key thing we looked at from there. Now, just looking at my notes, the next thing we actually took into place was looking at data. So from the initial call I had with him, he's very good in terms of numbers. I asked him to come to the call for kind of like a game plan call with him to give me all the data, and he had everything mapped out in Notion. So, okay, cool. This guy is smart, he's organized, and he's intelligent. He understands this. So he had all his data and his KPIs coming in. Now, what that basically allowed us to do was to look at where the bottlenecks were, which is then essentially optimizing these KPIs. And also, one of the bottlenecks was the follow-ups on the DMs. So one of the things we do to help clients' businesses grow dramatically and rapidly is we install follow-up systems, allow you to do 1,000, 1,300 messages a day, turning over conversations. This allows you to scale very, very quickly and also utilize leads as effectively as possible rather than just hoping on fresh new people to come through. Because the real money is actually in the follow-up, and you've probably heard that a lot. Now, the last thing I'll talk about, which is what most people I see struggle with when we give them this kind of game plan and they get good results, but like they maybe don't set the world on fire. What did Bernard do with these 4 simple things? Speaking about his ideal client, finding who that is, understanding the pain points, DM setting, the engine room of the business book calls, the pricing aspect, optimizing that to make as much cash and profit in his bank account as possible, and fourthly, understanding the data. What did he do? He focused on the basics consistently and also got his hands dirty. Because if we talk about the last component of this, which is the most important, is sales. He was taking pretty much all of the sales calls. Now, why is this important? Because it allowed him to max his closing percentage. Now, this is key because the highest ROI thing he can do in his business is selling right now. And this is something you can delegate out and you can build a team out, but he was taking a lot of these calls and he was also helping with some of the setting as well. Now, ultimately, your job in the business, and if you want to scale, you want to be spending as much time as you can in 2 departments. 1 is marketing and 2 is sales, and that is revenue generating opportunities. You should have already built out the back end in terms of fulfillment, operations, so that you don't have to get involved in those things. And if you haven't, you need to get those in place before you can get a business that goes over 6 figures a month. Now, our next plan with Bernard, where he is right now, sitting at $120,000 a month, $120,000 a month as a coach from the Netherlands, who 3x his business in 30 days. Our next goal is to get him to 200K a month by the end of the year. And how we are going to do that is we are going to be looking to then go into more paid advertising and using VSLs. And essentially, this is where you turn your business into basically a money printing machine. And the goal essentially is then we put in $1 and then we get $4 to $6 back. And then we just put as much as we can in the front end before we break the thing. And this is in essence the roadmap of how we got him to his first 6-figure month. And this is essentially how we're going to get him to a 200K coaching month, $200,000 month. And we have done this exact system over and over and over again. We've helped over 20 coaches the last 12 months break 6 figures a month. If you want to be the 21st coach, DM me on my Instagram at Charlie Johnson Fitness. You want to hit 100K a month, I will personally send you a message back. We can map out the roadmap in terms of exactly how to do this and show you the insides behind the curtains in more depth and detail. Because this is incredibly simple, in particular if you have the most important thing. If you have proof of concept, you're already making anywhere between $20,000 to $40,000 a month. For you to get to 100K a month is actually really easy. That's just marketing your sales. Technically, I would actually say for him to get into 200K a month is actually harder than getting into 100. And if you want help with doing that, drop a message on Instagram. You took value from the video, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and check out the video on screen right now.